Entertainment editor Peter Ford. Peter, how much are we talking and what's the house?
We're talking 30 million Australian dollars, so the headline becomes
A private royal estate once closely connected to Queen Elizabeth. The second is now said to be in the hands of Lady Louise Windsor. This decision has reportedly made Camilla's family enraged, as it's supposed to be hers. Did the Queen make a sentimental choice, or was it something more strategic? Join us as we uncover the deeper story behind this surprising inheritance. The inheritance. No one expected. Lady Louise Windsor has stepped quietly into adulthood, and with that transition has come a wave of attention that few expected. For most of her life, she has lived away from the center of royal headlines. She has carried herself with calm dignity, appearing at public events when needed, and returning to her studies and private interests without drama. Now, however, her name is being discussed in connection with something far more significant than a public appearance. Reports suggest that she has inherited a private estate that was personally connected to her late grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. This reported inheritance is not simply about land or property. It is about legacy. It is about memory. It is about the private world of a monarch who spent more than 70 years on the throne. When people hear the words private estate, they often think of value, size, or location. In the royal family, however, property carries emotional meaning. Certain estates were not just official residences. They were places of rest, reflection, and family gatherings. They were tied to personal routines and lifelong habits. During her lifetime, Queen Elizabeth II maintained a careful balance between public duty and private retreat. Some royal residences belong to the crown and pass automatically to the next monarch. Others are privately owned and can be left to family members according to personal wishes. This difference matters. A private estate is not part of state machinery. It represents personal choice. The idea that Lady Louise could inherit such a place has surprised many observers. She is not a direct heir to the throne. She does not hold a senior working royal position. She has largely stayed outside political and media debates that have touched other members of the family. Her life has been marked by discretion and patience rather than ambition. Publicly, the royal household has remained calm. There has been no dramatic announcement or visible sign of conflict. Official statements around inheritance matters are usually limited and respectful. Privacy is valued, especially when it concerns personal decisions made by a late monarch. Privately, however, reports suggest that not everyone connected to the extended royal circle was expecting this development. Attention has turned toward the family of Camilla, now Queen Consort. According to circulating accounts, members of her family were stunned by the news. Some were said to feel blindsided. Others were described as frustrated, though no formal complaint has been made. It is important to understand that inheritance within the royal family can be complex. Personal assets are different from titles. Estates may carry symbolic importance beyond their financial value. If Lady Louise had indeed inherited a private estate closely associated with Queen Elizabeth II, the decision would reflect trust and personal affection rather than rank alone. The calm public tone contrasts with the sense of surprise reported behind closed doors. Camilla's relatives are not part of the direct line of succession, yet they have been closer to the center of royal life in recent years. Since Camilla became Queen Consort alongside King Charles III, her family has naturally gained higher visibility. Expectations may have shifted quietly in the background. Still, no inheritance decision happens without careful planning. Queen Elizabeth II was known for her sense of duty and thoughtful preparation. She spent decades ensuring stability within the monarchy. Any private bequest would have been considered with care. It would likely reflect long-standing bonds rather than sudden impulses. This situation raises a clear and compelling question. Why Lady Louise? She has maintained a low profile. She has not sought influence. She has focused on education and family. Yet sometimes trust grows in silence. Lady Louise, the quiet royal. No one watched closely. Lady Louise Windsor was born into one of the most recognized families in the world, yet her childhood unfolded with remarkable normality. She is the daughter of Prince Edward and Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh. As the youngest child of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, Prince Edward chose a path that kept his family slightly removed from intense royal spotlight. This decision shaped Lady Louise's upbringing. Unlike her cousins Prince William and Prince Harry, Lady Louise did not grow up under constant global media attention. William was raised as a future king. Harry grew up as the spare to the heir. Their lives were closely followed from early childhood. Every milestone was widely reported. Lady Louise's early years were different. Her parents worked to provide stability and privacy. She attended school with less media presence. She was seen at major royal events, yet she was not the focus. This quieter environment allowed her to develop confidence without pressure. From a young age, she shared a meaningful bond with her grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. One of their most well-known shared interests was carriage driving. This sport had been deeply loved by Prince Philip, and the Queen supported it throughout her life.
So why is this so controversial? Because I think it would have been a more controversial headline if it said that the king wasn't.
Lady Louise became involved in carriage driving as a teenager and competed at events linked to the Royal Windsor Horse Show. Observers noted her serious approach and clear dedication. This shared activity strengthened her connection with her grandparents. Carriage driving requires patience, discipline, and calm control. These traits align closely with how Lady Louise is often described. She does not seek attention. She prepares carefully and performs with quiet focus. Queen Elizabeth II was known to have a soft spot for her youngest grandchildren. Lady Louise and her younger brother, James, grew up spending time at family gatherings in places that carried strong personal meaning for the Queen. These visits were not always public. They were moments of family life, away from cameras. As Lady Louise matured, her steady presence became more noticeable. She attended the funeral of Prince Philip with composed dignity. She later took part in events marking the Platinum Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth II. During these appearances, she carried herself with calm confidence. She did not appear overwhelmed. She did not appear eager for attention. She seemed grounded. Her education has also reflected balance. She pursued higher studies at university, focusing on academic goals rather than royal branding. This choice reinforced the idea that she values substance over visibility. She has not rushed into a full-time royal role. Instead, she has prioritized personal growth. Within the royal family, personalities vary widely. Some members are naturally charismatic in public settings. Others contribute through steady support behind the scenes. Lady Louise appears to belong to the second group. She listens more than she speaks. She steps forward when required, then steps back with ease. As attention now turns toward her reported inheritance, her background offers important context. She was never the loudest royal voice. She did not seek headlines. She built her path quietly and respectfully. The Queen's private estate, more than land. To understand why the reported inheritance has created such interest, it is important to understand what a private royal estate truly represents. In the United Kingdom, royal property is divided into different categories. Some estates belong to the Crown. Others belong personally to members of the royal family. This difference is not small. It shapes power, responsibility, and legacy. The Crown Estate is a large collection of lands and properties that belong to the monarchy as an institution. It is not the personal property of the monarch. It is managed independently and its profits go to the government. The monarch receives funding through the sovereign grant, which supports official duties. Crown estate assets automatically pass from one monarch to the next. They cannot be given away through a personal will. Private estates are different. These are personally owned properties. They are not controlled by the state. They can be passed down to chosen family members. Two of the most well-known private estates connected to Queen Elizabeth II were Balmoral Castle and Sandringham House. These estates were deeply personal to her and had been privately owned by the royal family for generations. Balmoral Castle, located in Scotland, was known as one of the Queen's favorite retreats. It offered open land, fresh air, and privacy. Sandringham House in Norfolk also served as a family home where holidays were spent and traditions were honored. These places were not only residences, they were settings for family memories, long walks, and quiet reflection. When reports mention a private estate connected to Queen Elizabeth II, the emotional meaning becomes clear. Such estates were places where she could step away from official duties. After decades of public service, she valued moments of calm, away from cameras and ceremonies. These rural settings gave her balance. An estate linked personally to the Queen would hold more than financial worth. It would carry the weight of her daily habits, her love of animals, her interest in country life, and her devotion to family gatherings. Passing such a property to someone would not be random. It would reflect personal connection and trust. Inheritance within the royal family has always been handled with careful thought. Monarchs prepare their private wills confidentially. The details are often sealed to protect privacy. This practice has been followed for many generations. It prevents public disputes and preserves dignity. Still, even when handled quietly, inheritance choices can influence relationships. If Lady Louise has been chosen to receive a private estate with strong personal meaning, the symbolism would be powerful. She has shown dedication to rural traditions such as carriage driving. She has appeared comfortable in countryside settings, connected to her grandparents. She has also remained steady during periods of family change. An estate is not only a place to live, it requires management. Land must be cared for, staff must be supported, historic buildings must be preserved. Choosing a younger family member may reflect confidence in their long-term commitment. It may also represent a desire to keep certain traditions alive. At the same time, inheritance decisions inside royal circles are rarely simple. Extended family members may hold quiet expectations. When a monarch passes away, transitions occur on many levels. Titles change, roles shift, private assets move according to personal wishes. Each of these changes can influence how family members feel. It is important to note that private inheritance does not reduce the position of the reigning monarch. When Queen Elizabeth II passed away, her son became King Charles III. As monarch, he inherited crown properties and constitutional responsibility. Private estates that belonged personally to the Queen could also pass to him unless otherwise specified in her will. This makes any reported transfer to another grandchild especially meaningful. At the center of this discussion lies quiet tension. Even without public disagreement, feelings can exist beneath the surface. In blended royal families, where titles and traditions intersect, personal choices may be viewed through many lenses. Some see affection, others see hierarchy. Some focus on symbolism, others focus on fairness. And as the focus shifts from land to relationships, a new question begins to rise quietly in the background. How does this reported decision sit with those who stand beside the king today? Because when private choices meet public roles, expectations can quietly collide. Camilla's side of the story, a different expectation. To understand the reported reaction surrounding this inheritance, it is necessary to look carefully at the position of Camilla. Her journey within the British monarchy has been long and complex. She is now Queen Consort, the wife of King Charles III. This role carries visibility, responsibility, and historical sensitivity. Camilla's path to acceptance was not immediate. Her relationship with Charles began many years ago, during a time when he was married to Diana, Princess of Wales. Public opinion during that period was strong and emotional. After Diana's death, feelings across the country remained intense. Over time, Camilla gradually took on public duties and focused on charitable causes, including literacy and domestic violence awareness. Years of steady work slowly changed public perception. When she married Charles, she chose to use the title Duchess of Cornwall rather than Princess of Wales, out of respect for public feeling. Later, before her passing, Queen Elizabeth II expressed her wish that Camilla be known as Queen Consort when Charles became king. This statement provided significant support and helped strengthen her position. Camilla also has her own children from her first marriage, including Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopes. While they're not part of the royal line of succession, they are part of her close family circle. As Camilla's public role increased, her extended family naturally became more visible. Blending families within a monarchy is delicate. Titles, traditions, and expectations must align carefully. Camilla's children do not hold royal titles, yet their mother now stands beside the king. This creates a unique dynamic. It requires balance between tradition and modern family life. In matters of inheritance, expectations can quietly form over time. When a family member rises to a higher public position, some may assume that closer alignment will follow in other areas. This does not mean entitlement. It reflects human perception. People often connect status with influence. If reports suggest that members of Camilla's family were surprised by Lady Louise's reported inheritance, the reaction may stem from these quiet expectations. It may not be about ownership. It may be about feeling included in legacy decisions. Within royal circles, legacy is deeply symbolic. At the same time, it is important to emphasize that private estates belong to personal choice. Queen Elizabeth II had the right to distribute her private property according to her wishes. Such decisions are not controlled by marital alignment or public hierarchy. They reflect individual judgment. Camilla's position within the monarchy remains strong. As queen consort, she supports the king in official duties and public service. Her charitable work continues to receive recognition. She has maintained composure through years of scrutiny. This context matters when considering any reported tension. Royal families operate within layers of tradition and emotion. There is history behind every relationship. There are memories behind every estate. When generations overlap, decisions can be interpreted in different ways. Some may see affirmation, others may feel distance. It is also possible that reactions have been shaped by media framing, rather than direct statements. Royal households rarely share private conversations. Public understanding often relies on reported impressions rather than confirmed dialogue. The blending of the king's original family and Camilla's family has required patience and sensitivity. Over the years, public events have shown unity. Family members have appeared together at major occasions. This visible harmony suggests careful effort to maintain stability. As viewers consider this side of the story, a deeper layer begins to emerge. If expectations and perceptions differ within the family, how does this influence the next generation? Because in royal life, today's quiet reaction can shape tomorrow's shifting dynamics. The decision behind closed doors. When a British monarch passes away, public ceremonies unfold with precision and tradition. What the public rarely sees, however, are the private legal processes that take place quietly in the background. Among these processes is the handling of personal wills. Unlike ordinary public figures, senior members of the royal family follow a long-standing custom that keeps their wills sealed. This practice is meant to protect dignity and prevent public dispute. It also ensures that deeply personal decisions remain private. Queen Elizabeth II was known for her careful planning. Throughout her reign of more than 70 years, she demonstrated consistency, discipline, and foresight. She understood that every choice she made would be examined closely. For this reason, it is widely believed that her private affairs were organized with great thought and clarity. Private estates, as previously explained, are legally distinct from properties that belong to the crown. Properties automatically transfer to the next monarch. Private holdings, however, can be distributed according to personal wishes. These decisions are shaped by relationships, shared experiences, and individual trust. They are not governed by rank alone. The structure of a royal will typically follows standard legal principles under United Kingdom law. Assets are listed, beneficiaries are named, executors are appointed to carry out instructions. The difference lies in confidentiality. A high court judge seals the will to prevent public access. This tradition has been applied to several senior royals in recent decades. It reflects the monarchy's desire to separate public duty from private life. If Lady Louise Windsor had indeed inherited a private estate connected to her grandmother, the decision would have been documented long before it became known publicly. Wills are often prepared that years in advance and reviewed periodically. Such preparation allows the monarch to reflect carefully on relationships over time. Queen Elizabeth II was widely respected for her long memory. She valued loyalty and steady character. Many former staff members and close observers have described her as someone who noticed quiet dedication. She was not known for dramatic gestures. Instead, she favored continuity and reliability. Seen through this lens, the reported inheritance may reflect sentiment rather than favoritism. Lady Louise shared specific interests with her grandparents, including carriage driving and rural traditions. She participated in family life away from intense publicity. These shared moments may have strengthened personal bonds that were invisible to the public. The announcement itself, or rather the reports surrounding it, emerged without dramatic ceremony. There was no large public declaration outlining detailed financial arrangements. Instead, information circulated through trusted media sources. The tone remained measured. There were no official disputes or public objections. Media outlets began to examine what the decision might mean. Commentators discussed symbolism. Some questioned expectations within extended family circles. Others emphasized that private estates are entirely separate from institutional royal assets. These discussions unfolded calmly, yet they carried undertones of curiosity. Inside the palace, silence prevailed. This silence is consistent with royal tradition. The family does not typically comment on private inheritance matters. Maintaining restraint prevents speculation from escalating. It also protects relationships from being drawn into public debate. Still, even quiet decisions can create emotional ripples. In a family as visible as the British royal family, even unconfirmed reports attract attention. Observers look for signs in body language at public events. They analyze seating arrangements and shared appearances. Yet no clear evidence of division has been presented. And in royal life, silence often speaks in ways that formal statements never could. Sometimes the loudest reaction is the one that never gets confirmed. Public reaction and palace strategy. Once reports about the inheritance began to circulate, public discussion followed quickly. Modern media operates at great speed. News spreads across television networks, digital platforms, and social media within hours. Even when official confirmation is limited, speculation fills the gaps. Coverage of the reported inheritance focused on symbolism as much as fact. Commentators revisited the bond between Lady Louise Windsor and her grandmother. They reviewed the difference between crown assets and private holdings. Some experts reminded audiences that private wills are confidential under established royal practice. At the same time, social media introduced emotional reactions. Online discussions often divide quickly. Some voices praise the idea of a younger royal receiving a meaningful estate. They described it as a touching gesture that honors personal connection. Others questioned whether different branches of the family might have expected closer involvement in legacy decisions. Public opinion is rarely uniform. In this case, reactions reflected broader feelings about the monarchy itself. Since the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, the institution has entered a period of adjustment. King Charles III now leads a modern monarchy facing social change and financial scrutiny. Every development is viewed through that wider lens. The palace response has followed a familiar pattern. There has been no detailed breakdown of inheritance arrangements. There has been no defensive statement addressing rumors. This restraint aligns with long-standing strategy. By avoiding direct engagement with speculation, the palace limits the lifespan of controversy. Image management after the Elizabethan era has required careful balance. The late Queen represented continuity and stability for more than 70 years. Her passing marked the end of a historic chapter. The new reign must honor tradition while adapting to modern expectations. King Charles III has emphasized unity in public appearances. He has appeared alongside senior working royals at major events. His wife, Camilla, continues her charitable work with consistent visibility. These public images reinforce the message of stability. In a blended royal structure, perception matters deeply. The king's original family and Camilla's family intersect within a shared public space. Each appearance sends subtle signals about harmony and respect. Even small details are analyzed by commentators. The difference between appearance and internal reality is often impossible to measure. Public unity does not guarantee private agreement, yet it does demonstrate commitment to institutional strength. The monarchy understands that visible division could weaken public trust. As conversation continues, a deeper question emerges. How will this moment influence relationships within the family over time? Because public calm can coexist with private reflection, and strategy often begins long before headlines fade. Legacy, loyalty, and royal bloodlines. Legacy carries deep meaning within a monarchy. It is not limited to crowns or titles. It includes memory, continuity, duty, and the careful passing of responsibility from one generation to the next. In the British royal family, legacy shapes identity. It influences how each member understands their place within a long and visible history. For more than 70 years, Queen Elizabeth II represented stability. Her reign connected the country to traditions that stretched back centuries. She understood that her role was larger than her personal life. Yet, within that public duty, she maintained private bonds with children and grandchildren. Those bonds were often expressed quietly. The Queen was known for her preference for calm and discretion in family matters. She rarely displayed strong emotion in public. Instead, she showed affection through consistency and trust. Family members who shared her interests or respected her routines often built deeper connections over time. These connections were not always visible to the world. When a monarch chooses to pass something deeply personal to a grandchild, the action carries symbolic power. It suggests continuity beyond official duty. It reflects faith in the younger generation's ability to preserve certain values. A private estate, especially one connected to peaceful moments away from formal events, represents more than land. It represents a way of life. Lady Louise Windsor belongs to a younger royal generation that has grown up in a modern media age. Despite this, she has maintained a reserved and steady presence. If she has received a meaningful private inheritance, the gesture may signal recognition of her quiet loyalty. It may also mark a generational shift, where responsibility begins to move gradually toward those who were once seen only as children. Legacy within a monarchy is tied closely to bloodlines. Direct descendants of the sovereign hold a distinct place within the line of succession. This structure creates an internal hierarchy that is understood even when it is not openly discussed. Royal bloodlines determine future kings and queens. They shape ceremonial order and constitutional role. At the same time, modern royal life includes blended families. Camilla became part of the royal family later in life. Her children were not born into royal bloodlines. They are respected members of her personal family, yet they do not stand within the line of succession. Their position is close to the throne in visibility, but not in hereditary structure. This distinction can create subtle tension between tradition and modern reality. On one hand, the monarchy has adapted to changing social expectations. Divorce, remarriage, and blended households are now part of royal history. On the other hand, hereditary principles remain central to constitutional stability. Bloodline continues to define succession. As this chapter closes, an important question remains. If legacy and bloodline guide private decisions, how will those choices influence the monarchy's direction in the years ahead? Because in royal families, tradition shapes the present, but the future belongs to those entrusted with it. What this really means for the future. As Lady Louise Windsor steps fully into adulthood, she does so at a moment of transition within the monarchy. The reported inheritance of a private estate connected to her grandmother places unexpected responsibility on her shoulders. Even if the details remain confidential, the symbolism is clear. She represents a bridge between the stability of the past and the uncertainty of the future. Adulthood within a royal family is not defined only by age. It is defined by responsibility, public presence, and quiet understanding of duty. If Lady Louise has been entrusted with something deeply personal, it suggests confidence in her maturity. Managing a private estate involves financial oversight, preservation of heritage, and careful stewardship of land and tradition. These tasks require patience and long-term commitment. For Camilla's family, adjustment may be part of the process. Their position within the royal world has grown in visibility since Camilla became queen consort. With that visibility comes greater public attention. Any development involving legacy or inheritance naturally invites interpretation. Adjusting to new balances within a blended royal structure takes time and understanding. At the center of this evolving picture stands King Charles III. As monarch, his role is to maintain unity. He must honor his mother's legacy while guiding the institution into a modern era. He also carries personal ties to both his original family and his wife's family. Balancing these relationships requires careful judgment. The monarchy today faces pressures that did not exist decades ago. Social media amplifies every rumor. Public trust depends on transparency. Yet, tradition values privacy. Navigating this balance demands strategic thinking. Silence can protect dignity, but it can also invite speculation. Choosing when to speak and when to remain quiet is part of a palate strategy. This reported inheritance highlights how the monarchy evolves quietly. There are no dramatic announcements reshaping its structure. Instead, small shifts signal gradual change. Younger royals step forward. Older generations pass responsibilities. Private decisions reflect personal values. It is important to reframe the narrative carefully. Is this situation truly about anger or division, or is it about generational movement? Reports may describe frustration or surprise, but no official confirmation of conflict has been presented. Public appearances continue with composure. Official duties proceed without interruption. Change often feels unsettling because it alters expectation. Inheritance can serve as a reminder that history moves forward. Those who once stood at the center gradually step aside, while younger members assume greater weight. This process is natural within any family, but within a monarchy, it carries national symbolism. Lady Louise's position remains measured. She has not sought public commentary, She continues her education and personal development. Her calm approach reinforces the image of steady continuity. If she indeed holds responsibility for a meaningful estate, it may encourage her gradual involvement in heritage preservation rather than immediate public prominence. Camilla's family, meanwhile, continues to occupy a respected but distinct space. Their role supports the Queen Consort personally rather than constitutionally. Over time, clearer understanding of these boundaries may ease any perceived tension. What do you think this decision says about the Queen's priorities? Was it sentimental or strategic?